Well, hello, friends. Welcome back to this episode of Test Those Breasts. I am your host, Jamie Vaughn. And today I am so honored to have my new breasty friend from Las Vegas, Dréa Gonzalez, on my show. She is almost 42 years old and is navigating a world after breast cancer. She is a wife, sister, auntie, and friend. A dog mom to Ziggy and Lola, a Pilates junkie working towards her Pilates education and teaching certifications to teach in her community, and a breast cancer advocate. She is a hairstylist and makeup artist and prides herself on helping others to feel their best. She is an ambassador for Look Good, Feel Better, and she loves to give back to her community as director of She Shines Again, nonprofit founded by her best friend, Chastity. Dréa is kind, loving, deeply passionate about caring for her family and friends. She is outgoing, but her favorite thing to do is watch true crime or the Real Housewives of any city while on the couch with her hubby and fur babies. Dréa appreciates a slower life with more authentic connections. She loves road trips with her hubby. And during football season, you will find her at a Rams game in LA. Dréa has had many setbacks, but prides herself on her resilience and strength. Well, hello, Dréa. How are
Hello.
you?
I'm good. How are you today? Thanks for having me.
I'm doing really good. I'm so glad that we finally connected. I was just
Finally.
laughing because I love how you have all of this stuff going on, but when it really comes down to it, you're sitting on your couch watching Real Housewives.
1000%. Like, you know where to find me on a Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday. It's like, bravo. Here we go.
You know
It's
what?
my
I
favorite.
love that so much. And
Love
I
it.
also love your background. You've got a nice
Thank you.
roaring fire on your TV screen.
Oh, you like that? I'm really trying to get into this holiday season.
It's
So here's my
super.
pretend fireplace, setting the ambience for us. Okay. We're good. We're good.
Yeah, it's
Love
super
it.
duper cozy. And
It is.
actually
Thank
here
you.
in Reno where it gets even colder,
Right.
because
You need the real thing right now.
yeah, we do. We actually light one every single night. And it's one of my
Oh,
favorite things to
love
do
that.
is just to melt into the couch and
That's a dream.
yeah,
Oh,
it's nice.
dream life. My dog's fireplace, a cozy blanket, and a book. I'm happy. That's my life. I love that.
Yeah, well, I want to let our audience know that you and I originally met in October when I came to
Yes.
Sunrise Hospital to
Yes.
speak to a group of survivors and caregivers and
Mhm.
friends. And you and I resonated really nicely.
Yes, we did. Right
We,
away. Very
yeah.
like just right away. Like I knew you for years. It was great. It's awesome.
Well, and I was just excited at the fact that you are also a breast cancer advocate. And I have to tell you that it is so important to have advocates out there.
Yes.
I just went to San Antonio to the San Antonio Breast
Oh
Cancer
yeah.
Symposium, and
Yes.
there were so many wonderful breast cancer advocates there, patient advocates,
I
and
love that.
they were really welcoming of all of us because they have realized people in the research and scientific world
Mhm.
and medical providers have realized that they need patient advocates like us with real lived
Yes.
experiences. So
Yes.
maybe next year you can go to that because
I would love that. When you were telling me about it, I was like, can I make this happen? But, I think next year we can do a lot more now. Moving forward, I think we're going to get very close with one another. I think there's a lot to work on.
yeah, I love that. And, I met so many people there.
Yeah.
I have a whole huge stack of cards that I need to follow up
So
with people.
exciting.
Some are from people that I've already interviewed. I just never
Okay.
met them in person.
Right. You're
And
like, oh, that's you. Okay. Hi.
yes, it was like meeting a movie star, you
So
know?
exciting though. When you
It, wa-
meet people that they understand you because once you go from your, I call it like the before cancer life to your then after life, you meet people and the connection is different when they've had the same thing you've had. The stories are different and the foundation is stronger and it's just a really interesting space to navigate, I think.
Definitely,
Yeah.
definitely. And it's good for our mental health.
Yes. We
Um,
need that. It's
Yeah, I
important.
mean that this is one of the reasons I started the podcast in the first place is, some people write a book, some people start
Right.
a business in with therapy and helping others that way
Mhm.
online. And I just decided to start a podcast just because I
I love
really
it.
enjoy the conversations that I have.
Right.
So,
And you're
so
such a conversationalist, like just the way when I met you, the way you got up there and you spoke and presented yourself, I'm like, I need to know you because what you're saying, no one's ever said before. How you're saying it. It's like I feel all those things, but when I say it in a group of people who've never been through it, it's like, oh, why are you talking like that? So you've created a space that's very comfortable for me, and I'm very grateful. So thank
oh,
you for doing this. This is
well,
awesome.
I appreciate your saying so, and it was nice to meet your husband as well.
Oh,
It
the
was nice that
hubbies.
he was there.
Oh, absolutely. I know. I'm like, you're coming with me today. He's like, I don't want to get emotional. He strays from it because he gets emotional. It's hard. As your hubby knows, it's all very hard.
Yep, it
Yeah.
is. So I always ask this question of survivors because it's really a deep question we really think about it. And people really have to think about who they were before breast cancer. So can you share with our audience who Andrea was before breast cancer?
Absolutely. Oh, Andrea was fun and full of life. Let me tell you, there wasn't anything I couldn't do, or so in my mind I thought, right? I was full of life and fire, and I was in a really happy place. I met he's my husband now, but he was my boyfriend then, and we just felt like we were going to conquer the world together. And I was just so happy, never tired, full of life, and then I got sick while we were dating. And it rocked my world in a way I never could have imagined. I don't believe that there are any accidents in the universe, and so I'm using my what has happened to me, because we're not going to call it like a sickness or anything bad. It's just what's happened to me, and I'm trying to use that as my superpower now. But who I was before was full of power, but I'm getting her back.
Okay, so you talked about how you were full of life, and then of course when you got sick, really like the energy is like sucked out of you, right?
Oh my
For a
gosh.
variety of different reasons. So, what was your diagnosis? How did you find it? Tell us all the things about how it was discovered, and then what your treatment was like.
Oh gosh. Okay. So I had been feeling pretty sick for about 6 months. Like my immune system just felt like there weren't enough vitamins, enough sleep. And then one day I was in the shower and I felt a lump, and I thought, that's nothing. But rewind, my mom passed from breast cancer. So in my mind, I'm always afraid of breast cancer. I had just been really run down and I didn't have insurance at the time. And I thought, I'm going to go to urgent care and just let's see what's going on. And I walk in, they're like, you're young. It's nothing. I said, but my mom passed. And they kind of got a look in their eyes. And I said, please just check, do an ultrasound. They do the ultrasound. 3 doctors come back in. They say, do you have someone you can call? I'm like, what do you mean?
Ooh.
Yeah. And I said, well, I have a boyfriend. They're like, you're going to want to call him. Just from the ultrasound, this is cancer. And they're like, that's how sure we are. And you're like, from an ultrasound? Yes. So then I went right into getting emergency medical Medicaid. I'm talking within 2 days, an emergency mammogram. Then the radiologist was confirming it. Then to finding a surgeon who would pay cash out of pocket because, again, no insurance. And I said, I don't want to leave the lump in my breast. I know that that means it can spread. So in my mind, I'm like, it needs to be gone. So within diagnosis, 2 weeks, I had a lumpectomy.
Mhm.
And that lumpectomy, of course, they also removed my lymph nodes, which that's been really rough.
Mhm.
And from that day forward, the diagnosis was stage 2, um, breast cancer. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's interesting that they found it just so fast, like they were super
So
sure.
fast.
Just yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Let's walk back a little bit, and I
Mm-hmm.
want to, if you're comfortable
Yeah.
talking about your mom.
Uh-huh.
What was her circumstance? How old was she when she was diagnosed?
Oh, she was 55 years old, and she hadn't had her mammogram for 3 years.
Oh,
So this is where my advocacy this is where I'm really tough because of it. I do feel like we could have done more for her had we been on top of it. She was diagnosed at 55 and she started radiation, and then chemotherapy. They were not checking for the BRCA gene at that time because this was in 2009, 2010, and they didn't check her. And within 10 months, she started not feeling very well. She had her right breast removed. They opted to not do bilateral. And one day she's like, I don't feel good. And she was jaundiced. Her tongue was bright red. Her eyes were yellow. And I took her to the hospital. That was a Friday. And she passed on Mother's Day, 3 days later.
Oh my.
It had spread to her liver. I know. I know.
Oh my gosh.
I know.
Trey, that is
Yeah.
just,
It's really
I'm so
hard.
sorry. Wow.
Thank you. I'm comfortable telling you that story. She was a beautiful human being, but just watching her suffer like that, and it happened so fast. And so when I try to be an advocate, I'm telling people, like, it can happen that fast. You have to push. People are not going to tell you what you want to hear. You have to keep pushing. You know your body, and you have to fight for it. So it's a big thing for me, you know.
Yeah.
So that lump, that diagnosis for me was a death sentence. And I got very depressed, and then I put my head down for a while, and I said, I guess I have to do work. You know, this is going to be work like anything. I said, like school, like college, you know, you're going to be focused. It's going to take this amount of time because I like things to have a timeline. I'm very regimented in that. So I said, okay, you're going to have this many treatments. I got the calendar out. I said, you're going to feel like shit this week. You're going to feel good this week. And I just started planning and living because I didn't know.
What year was it that your mom
Sorry, I
passed?
think of my mom. It's so hard.
I know. I mean, just like, you know what? I resonate with the loss of our moms because I lost my mom as well, not to breast cancer, but I know how that feels not having our moms with
Yeah.
us anymore. And so Mother's Day for you is
A nightmare.
oof. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What year was it when she passed?
My mom passed in 2011,
Okay.
which, wow, it feels like it was yesterday.
Mhm.
You know, I know because you're saying you've lost your mother, and I know that feeling is there. Every day you want your mom, or I know I do,
Yes.
you know. So it's hard. It's hard, but my mission is to be a strong advocate for people that don't have the resources, and also for people like my mom who was kind of led in different directions and wasn't being, you know what, she was asking the questions, she wasn't getting the answers. And so I'm fighting for her, and I'm fighting for me, and I'm fighting for everyone else. That's the way, you know, and they say you're like, you're a warrior. You are a warrior. You're a fighter. You know, it's never ending.
And you have the flames in the background to prove it.
Gotta love
You're
it.
like coming right out of the fire.
Here I come.
So, what was the staging? What was that all about?
I was stage 2, ductal carcinoma, invasive ductal carcinoma, which makes up 80% of the diagnoses, right? That's like the most common, and they go, oh, it's easy. Well, that's not so easy, is it? Is it? Like, oh, it's so easy. Like, they tell you as if you just have a common cold now. Oh, it's so easy. Is it, though? It's not.
Did you say you had stage 2?
I did.
Yeah, that's right. You and I were in HER2 positive,
Yep.
ERPR
Yep.
negative.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we were the same. Samesies.
We really are sisters, see? So you also had a mastectomy?
I did. I had a double mastectomy and deep flap reconstruction.
That's right. Oh, hard. Hardest day of my life.
What were your treatments like?
They were so hard. I had 16 rounds of chemotherapy. I went to go in for my last round, and they were like, we have chemoed you too much, so we're stopping today. I'm like, okay, cool. I was having, like, I don't know if you had this, bloody noses every day.
Oh.
Bloody mouth, like, terrible. But no radiation because I carried the gene. So
I didn't have radiation either.
Okay.
And the reason I didn't, from what I can gather,
Right.
is they had taken 3 lymph nodes out from the cancer side and 1 out from the other side, and there was nothing in there. So I was told I didn't have to have radiation.
Same.
No, like, those bloody noses. Let's talk bloody noses here. That was bad.
Awful. Like, you couldn't go anywhere.
Right.
it was constant, and you're like, where is it coming from, right? And then like the dryness of the mouth, so you just kind of feel terrible, and your skin, you're very dry. Did they do Neulasta on you? Because that was the devil. Oh,
No. And you know what? And I actually learned how to take care of a bloody nose more than
ooh,
I had. I didn't realize that you shouldn't use Kleenex when you have a bloody nose,
oh, interesting.
and you shouldn't lean your head back. You should lean your head forward and use cotton balls instead. So you put the cotton balls in there and you lean your head forward. And they do have those little pinchers that you can use, but
Yeah,
that was the only way that I could get my bloody noses to go. I know that sounds really
it's a
gross. My
no,
poor
it's
audience here. Oh,
no,
gross.
but it's it's our truth, it's what we went through.
Yeah.
It's a very non-glamorous, makes you feel disgusting. I struggled with, like, my white count was so bad that they were giving me Neulasta, which is like this little patch they stick on your arm, and 24 hours later, a needle goes in, and you get an hour of an injection, and it's to increase that white count. Well, that alongside your chemotherapy, I wouldn't leave the room for 5 days. I couldn't even open my eyes because of the migraines. So it got really hard, but I helped myself with humor, and I had support system that was phenomenal. I don't even think I could have survived this without my now husband. He was like a saint, truly.
Yeah, and he married you.
He
See?
married me.
He got the sickness and in health out of the way before he married
Se-
you.
Seriously, we did it all before the marriage. So we're like, we can literally handle anything now. We're
I
very
love that.
blessed.
So you have a really good foundation. I remember when I
Yes.
met him, you can tell the aura of your marriage.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
He's a doll. Like,
wonderful.
he's amazing. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
So you had a double mastectomy
Mhm.
and reconstruction. Did you do that in Las Vegas?
I did. I have an amazing doctor, actually. His name is Dr. Costa with Platinum Plastic Surgery. And his practice at that time, he was newer to Vegas, but 60% of his practice was breast cancer patients.
Oh,
I loved that because it's not your average cosmetic procedure. This is a life saving event. Um, I did have a lot of issues when I went in to have my mastectomy. They tell you, like, you can be released that day, or maybe they keep you one night. Well, when I woke up, I kept going like this, and I'm like, I'm drowning. And the nurses are like, you're waking up, you're okay. I said, no, I'm drowning. Something's wrong. So a doctor comes by and he's like, check her lungs. My lungs had collapsed.
oh,
So I was very near death. It was really scary. And so I was in the ICU for about 15 days.
wow.
My lungs wouldn't close up. They had to patch my lungs. It was a whole thing. So then reconstruction, expanders for 6-7 months. That's very painful.
Yeah.
But now I feel very lucky with what I have. And hey, I'm good. I'm okay now.
Right. That must have scared your husband.
It was awful.
Yeah.
He said that was the worst day of his life.
I bet.
Yeah.
I bet.
Yeah. It's hard.
So let's go ahead and move into you've gone through the treatments. You went and you're a hairstylist.
I
So
am.
you lost your hair.
Uh-huh.
What was that all like?
So I had always loved doing hair and makeup and wanted to do this when I was even in college studying literature. And I'm like, you know what? After I'm done being sick and getting through life, I want to go back to school and do something I love. And I want to help women my age who are struggling with hair and just their beauty in general. So I put myself through school at 39 years old. I went to cosmetology school and I said, I'm going to do it. So I was like the oldest one there, and I'm thriving. I love it. And I work with women not just to cut their hair and add extensions, to find the beauty in who they are, where they are. And that's why I did it. I love it. I have my own little salon studio, and I have so many older women that come into me, and that's what I love. I want to help them feel their best. It's very hard as we get older and menopause and all of that fun stuff. You don't feel your best. So
Right.
I'm loving it. I love
I
it.
love that. That's so awesome.
Yes.
So what are you doing in your survivorship to give back to the breast cancer community?
So I work with a nonprofit. It's founded at Sunrise Medical Center, and it's called Look Good, Feel Better. And this is a nationwide program where we're working directly with patients who are going through chemotherapy and radiation, and you have to be a licensed cosmetologist. So this sort of just all happened very organically through my healing and my survivorship and then through school. And I can't live without this program. I can't stress it enough. This program saves me and I'm helping them. They come in every other Monday. I help them fit on wigs if they want one, head wraps, scarves, and then we have donations from Estee Lauder, Clinique, L'Oreal, Lancome, and we have these big bags full of skincare and makeup and all the things to make you feel your best, because there's the science is if you look good, you feel better. I know that even when I was in treatment, I would put on my red lipstick and fake eyelashes and go to chemo. And they would tell me, "Well, what are you all dolled up for?" I'm like, "Because I'm here fighting. I need to look my best." And so the science helps your brain fight, because when you raise your dopamine and your serotonin, you're going to help heal yourself as well. So it's such a cool program. Oh, I
I
love
love
it
that.
so much.
I got a bag. I was sent home with one of
Yes,
those
you did.
bags. Yes,
Yes,
that
you
was
did.
so
Did
awesome.
you like it? So
I
much
do.
goodies. Yeah.
Yeah, there's tons of stuff in there. I couldn't
Yep.
believe how much stuff was in there. But what I want to know is how in the heck did you put lashes on? Because did you lose all your hair and
I
everything on your?
lost.
Yeah, how did you do
I
that?
Oh, it was like a miracle, and it was stupid, probably, really, because there was nothing to really protect my eyeball. So I would take a little bit of glue and like very feather light lashes and just put them on my skin, and then I would take like a little liquid eyeliner and put on top and kind of wing it out so it would like seal it in. And then as soon as I got home, I'd rip them off because like there was nothing protecting my eye. But I was hell bent on not showing up there and looking terrible. I just wanted to look good. I already felt terrible. Let's try and feel a little better.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I was the same way. In fact, when I got diagnosed, my first thought was, "Oh my gosh! First of all, I'm going to be bald.
Hmm.
What can I put on my skin? What makeup can I use to make me feel
Yep.
better?" And I went on this mission to find whatever resources I could, and I found a book called Pretty
Ooh,
Sick, and
write
it
that
was
down.
this woman who was in the beauty industry, and she would do these big events. So
Hmm.
she was always out in public and dressed to the nines and
Right.
makeup and all of the things. And she got breast cancer, and she had to figure out a way to look good in public and,
Ooh,
have as minimal as, amount of any kind of knowledge that she had breast
right.
cancer. So she started putting together this book, and she
Wow.
had the websites on there. So I mean, it covered vaginal help,
Right.
um,
There's a
let's
lot.
your face,
Mhm.
what kind of makeup, what kind of skincare, hair,
Right.
what you could do when you're bald, what
Hmm.
kind wigs. She talked about wigs,
Right.
what nails, just anything to help out. And it was a great book. And I just motored through that book
I
so
need that
fast.
book. I'm
Yeah,
going to
it
read
was
that
pretty cool.
now.
It was called Pretty Sick, and I loved the play on words, pretty
Right. Pretty.
sick,
Right. Pretty. Uh huh.
and I'm pretty sick.
Right. I'm
um,
pretty sick.
so yeah, so I ended up ordering several things from her
Okay.
recommendations, and that's what I used, including lashes. But I never could get
Right.
the lashes to stay on.
It was hard with the lashes, but luckily, your skin gets so dry that there wasn't a lot of moisture, so they would stick on for a little while. But then I'm like, oh, these are like they don't feel good.
Yeah.
I didn't wear wigs. I was so hot all the time
Oh
that
yeah. Well, you're in
I didn't do
Vegas.
wigs. Yeah, I'm like, I'm not doing a wig. And then, did your head hurt when you were losing your hair? Because my head was so tender.
It was tender.
Oh,
Yeah.
so tender. Oh
And
my
I
goodness, I
didn't
couldn't believe it.
I bought a wig, but I never wore it. I
Yeah,
only wore
same.
beanies or went bald. I just
Yep.
or scarves.
Yeah.
I wore the wig after my hair was starting to grow back to a costume party. It was a
Okay.
70s costume murder mystery party.
Fun.
It was
Fun. Listen, that's fun.
super cute. So, I do want to talk about a little bit more about your survivorship, because you have this real passion about helping other patients and survivors. And you and I were talking before we started the interview that I'm going to be doing my very first major fundraiser in May.
So
And
excited.
I'm scared. I'm anxious about it. I'm
Mhm.
excited about it. I'm finding the location and the date. And the date that I chose was Thursday, May 14th. And the
Oh,
reason I chose that is because I didn't want to compete with October,
right.
but I also wanted to have it sort of as a Mother's Day-esque theme, which is so fitting for you in
Yes.
particular, just because your mom died on Mother's
Mhm.
Day. And it's not too late in the month to compete with graduations and things like that,
Right.
but it's close enough to Mother's Day. So I would
Perfect.
love for you to be able to be here for
I will
that
be there with
event.
you.
Yeah, I think it would be really fun,
Yep.
and I really want to be able to have some survivors talking about their experience and
Mhm.
giving some good advice to the public out there, especially for people who have never been diagnosed.
Right.
And which is, another question that I ask is, we all have very similar pieces of advice, but some of us have unique ones. What kind
Hmm.
of advice would you give someone who's never been diagnosed? And I want to preface this by saying that one of Test Those Breasts missions is to be able to have an audience of people who have never been diagnosed. And I have been asked before why that is one of my
Hmm.
missions. And, because when
Right.
we think about people who've never been diagnosed, especially when they're in their 20s and 30s,
Right.
it's
Hmm.
not even on their radar. They're not even
Of course.
thinking about it.
No, you're too busy living. You're young. Why would you get breast cancer? Why would you get
Right.
any cancer? Right?
Right. But
We're not
we know
planning
as
that.
survivors that it needs to be on their
Hmm.
radar because there are more and more younger women who are getting diagnosed. So that's why I asked, what kind of piece of advice do you have to give to people who've never been diagnosed before?
I stress this that if something feels weird in your body, I don't care what your age is, you need to go to the doctor. And you don't stop until you get answers. Period. You have a right to your own body and how you want to be handled. And we need to make sure that these young girls are getting checked. A friend, a very close friend, her daughter recently had a lump and she calls me. But, she's young. And I said, doesn't matter. She needs to go because 22, 23, it's not too young. She went, she's okay. But I'm so proud of her for going. And she was so scared. But she said, but it's not anything. I said, exactly. But it could have been something. But you handled your health the way you should. You have to advocate for yourself. No one else can do it. Stay strong and owning your body. Really listen to your body. And also, health is wealth. I believe that. I wasn't always a healthy person, and now I'm completely different. If you can dig into physical exercise and really harnessing your mind and your gratitude each day, you can be a very healthy person. So start there. Try to help yourself before anything
Mhm.
happens. Because what we think, we become. I truly believe that manifestation is so very real.
What are some of the other ideas that you have that people can do to keep themselves healthy and, you know, uh, I mean, obviously cancer can happen to any of us
Mhm.
regardless of whether we're healthy or not. I mean, I was very healthy at the time, and
Right.
but there are some things that we can do that and the reason I say this is that healthy people can get cancer, but the healthier you are, the better we are going to be able to get through the treatment if we do get breast cancer. If you
Yes.
are unhealthy, you
Mhm.
know, overweight or drinking too much, whatever it is, it can be a little bit harder to get through. It's hard already.
Right. I was very overweight when I got sick. And that was another thing. Before I had gotten sick, I was gaining a lot of weight, like my hormonal balance, everything was off. And then it's like, then you get this diagnosis. Well, my body wasn't in a state of being that I could fight this very well, so the chemos were harder and mentally I was in a bad place. not only did I have to have a mastectomy, after we got married, we wanted to have children, but I was showing signs of ovarian cancer
Oh,
because of the gene that I carry. So
okay.
then we went into an emergency hysterectomy. Everything was gone. And that caused a lot of anger. So I've had to work on my mental health for that. But that's when I started losing the weight. I've lost 120 pounds.
Wow.
120 is crazy, but I'm just trying to arm myself to be healthy if this happens again, because we know with the gene that I carry, anything can happen. So Pilates every day, I eat pretty well. I do like a 80-20 lifestyle where 80% is health, 20%, I'm going to eat some pizza. I have a little bar behind me. That thing has stayed the same for years. We don't even drink anymore. We're just trying to live a very healthy lifestyle. And, it's hard. It's all hard, and I'm learning as I go.
Yeah, that's one thing. I had really cut back on drinking before
Okay.
I got breast cancer because I had lost 33 pounds about a year and a half prior to my diagnosis. And I really weaned myself off of drinking so much. And so when the doctors told me, "Hey, how much do you drink?" And I said, I don't really drink very much, but if I'll have a glass, maybe a few glasses a week or
Oh,
whatever,
yeah.
like one, for on a night or whatever. They're like, "Oh, it's too
Mm-hmm.
much." I'm like, "Okay." So I just quit drinking altogether during cancer.
Mm-hmm.
And afterwards, I, didn't really start drinking too much at all. So I'm kind of like, I can spend pretty much every night during the week not having anything. And if there's a party on the weekend or whatever, I might have a couple
Mm-hmm.
of glasses. But
Yep.
when I was at the symposium last week, there were studies saying, hey, if you are someone who doesn't drink, say, anything during the week or whatever, and you go out to a party and you have
Mm-hmm.
3 to 4 drinks, that is considered binge drinking. And that's even worse for you. And I'm like,
Really?
wow. Okay. So, I mean, it just
Wow.
totally changed my whole perspective. So I really do try just to maybe have, if I'm going to go out, have
Mm-hmm.
a drink
Right.
and not, catch up from the rest of the week or
Right.
whatever.
I love a glass of wine.
Yeah,
Like
me
I
too.
do love like a nice red wine. And like with a meal, like on my birthday, I just
Yeah.
turned 42, and on my birthday I had like a fillet and a nice glass of wine. And that was cool. Before I was very much a Vegas lifestyle, I also bartended. So I worked during the day, bartended at night. There's a lot of drinking and partying going on. So
Yes.
I kind of became a different person, altogether. But I like who I am now. I love myself much more than I ever did before.
Right.
And sometimes I don't know if I'm thanking the cancer because I'm not super happy about it, but I'm thankful for the experience that has formed me into this woman that I am now, because I wouldn't be here without it. So it's an interesting way to look at it, I think, but it helps me.
I think so too. And there's a lot of partying going on here in Reno too. I used to be a
Oh yeah.
bartender. I actually bartended all the way through lots of different careers I had. So,
Right, same.
yeah. So I mean, I was definitely there, and I look back and I try not to beat myself up. Okay, I was, I would like socially smoke. I, would drink, and but now it's just a little bit different. And I love Pilates, by the way. I do mat Pilates. I,
Oh,
I love the mat Pilates. And then do you all have Legree there?
no.
Do
What
you
is
know what
that?
Legree is? So
No.
Legree, I never had heard of it before. It uses a reformer.
Okay.
And the best way that ChatGPT told me that I could explain this to people is take Pilates and
Mhm.
strength training, and it had a
Okay.
baby. And you
Ooh,
get Legree. So it's
I
like a
love that.
slow burn, muscle building, strength training. It does
So
have
good.
Pilates-esque moves to it.
Okay.
And then, of course, they have other moves that you wouldn't see in Pilates necessarily.
Right. Oh,
Look
that's
it up.
awesome.
Look it up and see.
Okay.
So I do both. I've just really tried to, because I had put on 20 pounds after my breast cancer diagnosis. And
Mm-hmm.
last
Same.
spring, my oncologist was doing a checkup on me,
Mm-hmm.
and all my scans were clear, but she was feeling around on my breasts and stuff like that. And she says, everything looks good. Your scans are all clear. You just need to make sure that you watch the weight. And I had already had it in my
Rude.
mind. I know. I was like,
Rude.
what?
Oh, so rude.
But I was feeling pretty unhealthy at that time. I
Okay.
was, doing some things in our community that was necessary. And I was just working so hard, but I
Mhm.
was feeling unhealthy in my mind and my body. And so when she
Right.
said that, this was right before I went to Peru with some other breast cancer survivors.
Okay.
And I had it in my mind the whole time that I really needed to lose some weight. And
Mhm.
I lost 7 pounds when I was in Peru, which is not surprising at all because we backpacked 50 miles
Oh my
up
gosh.
and down. I mean, it was hard.
Wow.
And we ate really
Awesome.
well,
Yes.
and when I got back, I stayed with my personal trainer that got me prepared for Peru.
Mhm.
And I was just really doing some major strength training because for women, we need to do strength training and we need
Yes.
to keep our bones healthy. And
Yes.
so in July, I had come across this studio that was opening that one of our former teacher friends had opened. I thought it was Pilates, but she's like, no, 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 it's Legree. And it was
Okay.
before it opened. And she told me what Legree was. And I joined that day. I was like, I'm committed.
Wow.
I'll commit for a year,
Mhm.
signed up. So I was a founding member and I got to go to the studio for an entire month in August for free
That's
before the
amazing.
grand opening. And so I have been going since the first week of
Wow.
August. And I have lost between doing mat Pilates and Legree and
Mhm.
walking our dogs and
Right.
eating right, not
Mhm.
drinking a lot, probably dropped about maybe 12-ish to 13 pounds, which
That's
is good for
amazing.
me. I mean, I definitely feel better.
Good.
Um,
That's what matters also. How do you feel?
I feel so much
That's
better.
what matters. You
Yeah,
look great.
and I'm also focusing almost 100% on this nonprofit now. I had let
Yes.
it go for a little while since last February, and I was really missing it, and I got back to it. So I
Good.
feel healthier
Good.
doing that, and
Good.
I'm just glad to be able to have conversations with people like you. And I'm glad that I
Me
was
too.
able to go to Las Vegas and meet all of
Amazing.
you. I interviewed Tiffany. I don't know whether
Oh
you've
yes.
listened to that
Uh-huh.
episode.
Yes.
Yeah.
Love that.
Another great example
Mhm.
of that connection because she really didn't talk about her diagnosis much.
Right.
She was like, I don't want to burden anyone. And
Yep.
now she's like, she likes to talk about it now. So it was a great conversation.
It's very healing. I
Yes.
sometimes I will stray away from the conversation because I'll get emotional and
Yeah.
I feel like, "Oh, I shouldn't be showing my emotions." But it's okay to be emotional. This has affected my life in every single way,
Right.
good
Every
and
single.
bad,
Yeah.
every single way. But just being healthy and showing people that there is life after cancer. There is happiness after not being able to have children. There is so much to live for, and your purpose changes, but you just stay very steadfast in it. The nonprofit work. I do nonprofit work as well. It fills me up in a way I can't explain. I have to be helping others. That is where I thrive. And that's what I focus on. That's my baby now.
Yeah.
All of the people and the hearts I touch, those are my babies. And I love it.
That's awesome. Well, you are a complete joy to talk to. And
Thank
I'm
you.
just so happy that we were able to make this work and have this lovely conversation. You have a lot to offer to our community. And
Yes.
yes, we're going to talk about going to San Antonio next year. And we will
Yes.
talk about May, the fundraiser.
So excited.
And we'll just kind of go from there. Is there anything that
Can't
you
wait.
would like to leave us with before we disconnect today?
You know what? If anybody is out there that wants information on Look Good, Feel Better, I'm here to help. You can get my information from Miss Jamie. If you just need someone to talk to, my Instagram has touched a lot of lives and I've helped people figure out that they have cancer. So if you just need someone to talk to, I'm here
So
in
we're
any
going to
state.
put all of that information in the show notes. So to
Perfect.
my audience, just click on the links. And
Okay.
so, okay, well, thank you so much for sharing, Dre. It was really nice to see you. And to my audience, I really am thrilled that you joined us on this episode of Test Those Breasts. And we will see you on the next episode. Bye for
Thank
now.
you. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.